everyone. Welcome to another Classic Movie Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful and fantabulous new year. I apologize that I've unfortunately had to delay videos. I've been really busy up to leading to New Year's and did not have time to go through and get caught up with all of the videos, but I should be done by the end of today. So without further ado, let me address what I wanted to talk about for this particular Classic Movie Monday, which is technically winter-esque related. I will be doing winter sort of New Year's Eve oriented content up until the sort of technically ending of this year of what videos were supposed to be uploaded. So I will be doing that all the way up to technically Thursday's video, and then it'll just be back to, just normal, as opposed to the holiday season. So without further ado, let's discuss The Thing. This one is a pretty creepy and dark movie, to say the least, with a lot of grotesque and scary elements to it. And that's not something you often see in a winter movie, unless it involves maybe the abominable snowman, which rarely does, at least from what the movies that I've seen. But basically, this particular film revolves around some American researchers who end up in Antarctica, and they end up discovering that the sled dog, or at least one of the sled dogs that one of the researchers had, ends up being infected by the Thing. And it does a really good job of not necessarily really revealing what the Thing is. I mean, it shows you certain parts which are very creepy and kind of give you the impression of what the Thing would be, but it's still pretty bizarre, and it does give you kind of the chills and the creeps when you're watching this. I think that's really what plays into this particular film's advantage, is the fact that we don't really see the monster. Like, the monster is this mysterious thing that's not really all too well explained as to exactly what it is. It's almost so bizarre, you can't even really place as to what it would be. I mean, you would probably have an idea, but it doesn't really, again, fully elaborate onto the whole concept of the Thing. It just presents itself in a way that creeps you out, but doesn't really explain as to exactly what it is or what where it came from or anything of that nature. So the mystery is really what I think works to this particular film's advantage. And again, it has that kind of sort of dark tone to it that I would say is somewhat similar to the film Alien, where it is kind of isolating, because again, you've got these researchers who are like in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica, where it's really cold and they don't really have a lot of exposure to anything else that's out there. So they're kind of alone, and you feel that kind of same isolation that the film, I think, Alien shows. So it's one of those other sci-fi kind of esque projects that I think really did get recognized for that, and for being sort of, I guess, out of the box in that way. And also, you really don't know ultimately where it's going to go and kind of who's going to survive. Maybe there are some certain parts where you can kind of see like one character maybe not making it. But on the one hand, it still does a good job of not really revealing to the extent of the intentions behind the plot. Like, where are they going to find out if there is some way to defeat the Thing? Is there some way they're going to be able to capture the Thing? They're there's a lot of things that the film reveals to you, but you don't really know initially whether or not it's going to go one direction or the other. So that's another thing that I think really works well to this film's advantage. Um, and I think upon its initial release, I think it did get a certain significant amount of exposure. But I think over the years, it seems to maintain this certain level of, I think, intrigue. And if you really look at sci-fi, this is definitely one that is rather unique compared to a lot of other films that I've seen over the years that try to do sort of a similar kind of setup. This one does it definitely well. And is again one film that also stars Kurt Russell, out of all people. So if you are interested in these kinds of more crazy and creepy sci-fi films, this one will definitely intrigue you. And it has a sort of interesting and unique setup because, again, we don't really see films taking place all too much in Antarctica in this kind of a light. At least I can't even think of any really films off the top of my head that do that. So it just has a very unique approach to its whole setup, and it ultimately, I think, provides something actually rather unique compared to a lot of other films that have at least attempted or have done similar and well executed things for that are, again, a lot like this film, like Alien, for example. So again, if you like those kinds of things, it's definitely worthy of a recommendation. But if you get creeped out by anything that is again, they make the thing look a little bit kind of like a spider, but not. So yeah, if you're freaked out by spiders, or if you're just freaked out by those kinds of things, like if you look at Alien, you'll probably see a lot of similarities with Alien in this particular film, but at the same time, completely different setup and characters and different story in the way in which it approaches the story. Because they don't really try to give one character the main spotlight, so it actually gives you insight as to, okay, well, then how do we know which one's going to, how do we know which one's going to kind of live and die, so that provides also another level of intrigue. So definitely an interesting one, and I think worthy of recommendation. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all next video. Take care. Bye bye.